right, welcome to One Nation, a Sports Locker Magazine Extra. This is your host, Kirk DeMars, and I am excited for this program tonight. And you're going to find out why here in just a moment. There are some amazing things that happen right here in mid Missouri. There are some amazing organizations, and you're going to find out about one of those in particular tonight and what you can do to be involved and be a part of the great things that they're doing. So, I'm going to go ahead and bring this awesome group of ladies on from the Healing House and New Beginnings. And we're only going to see a portion of them right at the very beginning. If the other two ladies can quick, there you go. There's Carissa, Crystal, Becky, and Jessica joining us tonight. Thank you guys for coming on the program.
You're welcome.
Thank you for having
Yeah,
us.
absolutely. I want to say real quick, Becky, you are the Single Mothers Program Coordinator for the Healing House and New Beginnings. Would you tell us a little bit about the program and just what it's all about and how it impacts women right here in mid Missouri?
Yeah, so the Healing House and New Beginnings was founded by Heather Geek. She's the executive director founder. And what it is it's a year long sober living house. We actually have three houses, and it's a faith based program that ministers to women that suffer from substance use disorders. So when they're coming out of prisons or jails or off the streets or different short term like rehabs, and they need to have some structure and just learn life skills, build their relationship with Jesus Christ, and just kind of get a good solid foundation before entering into, transitioning into the real world. That's what the Healing House and New Beginnings is. So I came into the program in 2019 from the Cole County Jail after a series of events that led to 8 felonies. And from that point, I found myself just completely broken and hopeless and crying out to a God that I did not know at that time. And my prayer was, if you're real, change me. And so that's what he did. And it was through Heather Geek and her servant heart opening this house and allowing women like myself to come in and just teaching us how to live through a series of spirituality classes, church, recovery classes, AA, celebrate recovery, life skills classes, different things like that. And through the living word, that's what sanctified my life and my soul, and put me on the path to where I am today. And so now I have both of my kids back in my care. They live with me in one of the houses, and I get to help other women like myself.
Yeah, and you do an amazing job, Becky. And I'm a little biased about all of you guys because I get to hang out with you all every Sunday at church. So it's been an honor and an absolute blessing to get to see the growth that happens in each and every one of you. And I see many of the women come in, and I'm not going to say they're at their worst or lowest point, but they're not far from that. And then just to see the dramatic change that takes place and just finding that identity of who they are in Christ. That's an incredible thing to see, and I'm privileged to be a part of that and just go along that journey with you guys. So
Yeah.
I wanted to quickly before we get too far in the program, and I'm going to encourage anybody that has any comments as we are going along. Feel free to interact with us. Well, if you have questions or you want to make a comment, absolutely jump in and do that. But I want to ask you guys real quick to talk about what is happening tomorrow night on Tuesday, May 20 or May 23rd, Tuesday, May 23rd at Memorial Park. Why don't you tell us what's happening tomorrow night?
Okay, so it's our annual picnic in the park fundraiser. Like Pastor Kirk said, it's tomorrow, Tuesday, May 23rd. It's from 5 to 7. We have a amazing silent auction with a lot of cool prizes. And it's not about the cost of the item, but it's about the seed sown into a changed life. So that's just a disclaimer there. There's a raffle with a lot of cool prizes on that as well. And then we have a big ticket item, which is a $3,000 valued outdoor polyurethane patio table and chair set. It's really good. It's awesome. It's going to be fun. There's live music, food by Colton, so it's pulled pork. Kids 8 and under eat free, and it's just going to be a good time.
Yes.
Yeah, it's going to be great. That event is always a great event to go. You guys have live music. Will be out there, and it's a great time to get to meet you guys and get to ask questions and find out how you can get involved. So, I highly encourage anybody to get out there and to be a part of that. And I wanted to give a quick shout out as well for you mentioned Colton's. Uh, they are also an employer of several of the women from the Healing House and New Beginnings. And why don't you just give a shout out to them real quick, if you would?
Yeah, Jack, if you're listening, thank you. We
Yeah.
appreciate you as always. So they always so into our annual picnic in the park, and we just appreciate it tremendously. And like Pastor Kirk said, Jessica actually, where you at? Jessica is one of the employees there at Colton's, along with a couple of our other girls that have been with us for a long time. They're all very good employees, and they love their job. And
he's an amazing employer, an amazing boss. He genuinely cares about our recovery and our lives. It's not just an employee or a number for him. So he's pretty amazing.
We love you, Jack.
We love you, Jack.
That's awesome. He's he might even just have to play this over and over and over and over again. If he's ever feeling down, or if you guys are maybe not quite having a good day, he can just say, "You remember this moment? You remember this moment?" That's great.
So
Becky,
his new ringtone.
yeah. Becky, why don't you talk a little bit about the ladies that are next to you, and just one by one, if you would give their names and just say a little something about them, if you would, please.
Yeah. Okay, so Jessica, she is fairly new to the program. She came from Vandalia Women's Prison. And do you want to say just a little bit? Can I do that?
Is that okay, Pastor?
Remember, I muted myself, so I can't answer you.
Oh, so you're shaking your head yes or no?
Yes, absolutely. So I will shake my head. Yes, you can. And we had a comment from Catherine Marlowe. She says, "I'll show it to him." That's awesome.
Oh, thanks, Katie.
Yeah, so I have been in the Healing House. I'm a week away from 90 days, and not only has it saved my life, it's given me a life. I'm originally from Branson, Missouri, and have about 20 years in addiction. This last stay in prison, I just really prayed for something different because I was so mad at God for a while. And then I got to a place where Heather Geek actually comes in and ministers, does a ministry in there. And she was at church one night. And I said, you know what, God, if you're real and if there's anything out there, just allow me to be in a program that is something like hers. And so my institutional parole officer pulled me in the office, gave me two options. It was either the Healing House here or the Healing House in Kansas City. I filled out the application and immediately heard from Becky. We corresponded phone calls and mail. And when I showed up at the Healing House, I have 19 months sober right now, but I was really broken and just really lost. It's a completely different area with completely different people, but every single one of them, not just one person, have opened their arms and their hearts, their lives. I showed up with nothing, and I have everything I need and more, from clothes to food to a job to sisters to a phenomenal church group, church family. So yeah, it's been really good. It's something, like I said, it didn't only save my life; it's given me a life, and I am forever grateful.
Well, you're doing an outstanding job. And you know what? I got to say this real quick because most people that are watching the program don't know me by Pastor Kirk, so that's probably throwing them off a
Oh.
little bit. That's probably throwing them off just a little bit, but it's okay. You guys can keep calling me that. So, but like, really, what's going on with that guy? Good. So, Jessica,
I don't know you by anything else than
Yeah,
Pastor
no,
you're
Kirk.
Pastor Kirk.
you are absolutely okay. Jessica, I wanted to ask you another question about all that. We through the magazine we do a lot of interviews with kids that are in high school. Most of them are juniors or seniors in high school, and there's lots of pressures on them. Were there any pressures that you had in high school, and would you have sought out any kind of help differently if you would have known about those things?
Yeah, so there was so much pressure on me in high school. I tried marijuana for the first time at 12, tried weed and meth co- together at the age of 14 and fell in love with it because I just saw that, that was a way to get in with the crowd and to be cool and to be liked. And I feel like if I would have had people coming into the school or in the community that were like, hey, look, I've been there, I've done that, please don't do it, I might not have, gone down the road I went down. I am a survivor of human trafficking, and those drugs led me to that. And the kids are a target, you know what I mean? So, what I could say about high schoolers and the peer pressure of that is, we have to get in there and we have to minister to them because they don't know that there's any other option but being the cool kids because of weed or pills or whatever it may be. They have to feel like they need that to join in on whatever it is, you know what I mean? And life is so much better without all that. There's so much more fun.
Absolutely, and we're having a lot of fun here tonight. We're going to continue to have a lot of fun, and
Yes.
thank you for sharing that. But this will be for all of you in general, anybody that wants to respond to this. So, Jessica, you had said at the age of 12 and age 14. I mean, how do you get that stuff when you're that young?
It's everywhere, Pastor. I think it's more available to our children than not, just because it's an easy dollar for the dealer, you
Yeah,
know?
I wanted to say also the first time I was ever arrested, I was 13 years old. It was the first week of seventh grade, and I was skipping school and had 23 grams of marijuana on my body when the school resource officer picked me up walking the opposite direction from the school. And excuse me, for me personally, I was raised in a good family. Both of my parents were in the home. There was no fighting, no drinking, no cussing, no smoking. Everything was really good for me and my family. There was alcohol in the house, but it was like dusty on the bars in the basement. It was mostly like collectors' items at that point. Excuse me, but I had gotten curious one day and took a sip and took another sip and took another sip, and then a couple of my friends and I were walking up the street from where I used to live, and there was a older, I would say he was in his 30s, outside on the front porch, and it was the middle of the night. And from that place, I was sexually abused by that neighbor, and I never told anybody, and that escalated everything for me. So it started with drinking, but then it escalated to marijuana. Drug dealers don't care how old you are, and not to mention, I lied about my age most of the time. So I was 13, saying I was 16, and um, I think it's just a place of rebellion
Hmm.
and curiosity. And I think that's also, I'm going to cut this short after that and pass it on. But um, I think honestly, it's so important um, for my children to know the cold hard facts about drugs.
Yeah.
I don't sugarcoat things. obviously keep it as age appropriate as I can, but my children are 7 and 8, and they know what drugs are. Because if I don't teach them and if I don't tell them, then the world is going to, somebody else is going to, someone in school is going to, a drug dealer is going to teach them. So, they know what it is. I did not. The first time I did heroin, whenever I was 17, 18, I did not know that if you do it for a certain amount of time and then you stop doing it, you're going to experience withdrawals. Nobody told me that. My drug dealers that were giving it to me did not tell me that this is going to cause you serious pain in your life,
Right. Right.
So I'm just grateful that I know I went through it so my kids don't have to.
Yeah.
I'm passing it on to
No,
Crystal.
well, before we do that, before we have Miss Crystal talk, I'm gonna go ahead and take our commercial break here real quick, and then we'll come back, give you guys a little bit of opportunity to breathe, because I know a few of you are just a little bit nervous, but this is fun, isn't it?
A lot nervous, Pastor. I'm not gonna lie, a lot nervous.
And I did want to point out, Madison Jolly has joined us. She said, "Hey, everyone." So I want to make sure you guys knew that she said hello. All right. So you guys, outstanding job. We'll be right back in just a few moments, but I'm going to do a quick sponsor break. We'll be right back.
Sounds good.
CNS Business Services has been connecting employees with employers since 1977. Recently, CNS rebranded to CNS Employment Solutions to more clearly define their mission of serving the needs of applicants, employees, and businesses while remaining current and evolving with the changes in the workforce. One important thing has not changed. CNS Employment Solutions partners with a wide variety of employers, placing employees in jobs that match their skills and needs.
Say yes to CNS.
All right. CNS Business Services, they are an outstanding resource right here in mid-Missouri, and they've changed. They've got their new logo. They've got all sorts of stuff going on, and I just really appreciate them, CNS Business Solutions, and all the things that they do. Employment Solutions, I'm sorry. See, when people change their names, it makes it tough on me. You know what I'm saying? Makes it tough on me. There's something that's ingrained in there for so long. It is still CNS Employment Solutions is a part of CNS Business Services. So I've got it right. We're all together there. We're good. So just I've utterly confused you guys, but that's okay because Katie Rain, she has said that you ladies are awesome, and I agree completely with her, as well as Katie's really awesome as well. So um, Becky, pick up and move on to that next person sitting behind you, if you would, please.
Okay. So this is Crystal Dewey, and she has been with us for a little bit over a year now. She just recently commenced the program in May. This is her second go round. I'm sorry. Yeah, we had a commencement in May, but Crystal was not in it. She commenced in February. So this is actually her second go around with the Healing House. The first time she was one of the very first people to come in, and she did not commence that time. This time was the one. Yeah. So she's actually employed at Bandanas, and she volunteers with the Healing House as the assistant program coordinator. 1 day a week, sometimes more. And starting in July, she will be our fourth part-time employee.
Woo! Yeah, girl.
Good.
That is awesome. I have to clap for that. I have to clap for her too. But before you say anything, I want to share one thing. I mean, you were saying a lot of really nice stuff about Crystal, and one thing I really want to say is that she has such a servant's heart. I can remember just from the first time that we met her, she really had a heart for the homeless, and she was along with Carrie. They were getting together, and they were really having a heart for the homeless and making sure that they had some different supplies that they need. And Crystal, I just still see this picture. I mean, you had this huge backpack on your back filled with stuff to bring to be able to make these homeless care packages, and you were having that on your back as you were riding your scooter. I'm like, how is she even doing that? That was amazing. So Crystal, you're an amazing young woman, so please please tell us a little bit about what's been happening with you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. And
Share a brief testimony.
okay. All right. Well, so I guess well, I've been pretty much into alcohol and drugs since I was like 15. Um, I I'm adopted, and I had kind of a rough childhood before I was adopted, and so I just and the it kind of runs in my birth family a little bit. But anyway, so I've tried to, throughout. So I'm 42 now, so I guess that tells you how long I was, drinking and doing drugs. And I tried to get clean a lot of times in the past because I've been to prison 8 times, and I've been to rehab 10 times, and I always wanted to do better. And I always, I mean, some of the times I went to rehab, it was because they made me, but sometimes it was not. I mean, I voluntarily went because I wanted to do better. And I always, every time I went to either prison or rehab, I always planned on getting out and doing better and not getting high, and you know what I mean, being a good mom and doing all the things that I needed to do. But it never happened that way. I would get out, and I mean, 99% of the time I was high the day that I got out, and I would always, even that same night, or be like, how did I already get here? Like, I just could not believe that I had already relapsed, and and I'd be so upset with myself. And then, once you relapse, it's extremely hard to not keep going. But anyway, so and the when I came into the program this time, I came here from jail. I was in jail for 2 weeks. I knew when I went to court that I was going to go to jail, so I kind of, and I was really tired of living the way that I was living. So I kind of started the process of getting into the healing house before I went to jail by filling out an application and stuff. And I've been talking to Brenda about it, one of the leaders. And anyway, so I went to jail. Was trying to get into the healing house. I was sick because I was on heroin, so I was really sick while I was in there. But they ended up interviewing me, and I did get accepted. So after 2 weeks, I got out. But while I was in there, I, for the first time ever, actually prayed and asked God to take away my desire to use. And and I knew from the AA and all that stuff that it was possible for that to happen. But I guess not thinking because now that when I think back, I never had actually asked God to do that. I had never prayed and asked God to do that. So I did. And when I got out, I went to the healing house. I was then the day after I got there, I was still kind of sick even then from it because I stay sick for a long time when I come off of heroin. But and I was sitting on the porch and I was sick, but I just realized while I was sitting there that God had answered my prayer because even though I was sick, I had no desire to use. I did not want to get high, and I could not believe it. I remember, I'll never forget it. I just started jumping up and down, and I was like, "Thank you, God, thank you!" I was so excited because I had never experienced that before. And I know that some people might go through the steps or whatever before their desire is taken away, and that's fine. It's not the same for everyone, but that's just how it happened for me. And anyway, so I've been at the Healing House ever since, and it's an amazing program. It's changed and saved my life along with God. And so I commenced it in February, and was going to move, and something, I mean, really God, I decided to stay, and I know that was God too. And so I've been trying to give back, helping with, I go up to CSC. I've been,
Tell me what CSC is.
CSC is like a place in Fulton that is kind of like a prison, similar. It's like a 120-day program for women. So they're locked in there for 120 days. So it's like basically a tiny step down from prison. But anyway, so me and a couple other girls, Katie and Cheyenne, and Brenda, we go up there on Tuesday nights and do a 12-step based off the AA book thing to teach them about recovery. And then I volunteer here at the office sometimes, and then I'm getting ready to start working here in July. I'm super excited.
Yeah, yay again, yay.
That's one of the things in my life, and I just want to give all the glory to God.
Yes.
And I'm so grateful to Him and to this program. And I guess that's all I have to say. But the life is good and amazing. I've never actually lived life until now, and it is good.
Well,
Amen.
I have to do another little shout out for you, and um, just I'm going to try not to get emotional on this, but just for you
Yeah.
to deal with your mom's death and to basically put together her memorial service. Um, you would not have been able to do that a couple years ago.
No, and that's another thing. Whew.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful that I was clean and sober for that, because if I wouldn't have been, I would not have got to spend the last of my mom's life with her in the hospital. I would have been out running around getting high, and I wouldn't have been able to get, because it was my birth mother that was in the hospital that recently passed away, and I didn't have a very good relationship with her because I was adopted and stuff. But she has changed, and me becoming an addict, an alcoholic as well, I could actually relate to and understand some of what happened when I was younger, because you know so and there was so we got to have that time to bond, and could forgive her and let her know that she was forgiven.
Mhm.
And it was just amazing. And then to when she passed, to be able to be responsible enough to be able to put together her memorial
Mhm.
and plan all that, and be able to get her cremated and everything, that along with the help of many people at my church as well, who donated a lot of money to me. And I want to thank anyone that's listening for everything that my church did for me when it came to my mother passing. It means a lot to me.
Mhm.
um, anyway, that's the House of Prayer in Jefferson City.
Yes, it
All
But
is.
right.
anyways,
I'm not prompting. I'm not prompting any of that, but you know, I do want to say that it is an incredible honor for Angela and myself to be pastors and to just be a part of you guys' lives.
Yeah.
We've had several other women that had lost a parent this last year, during this last
Mhm.
year. So there's been a lot of that going on, and just again seeing the tremendous response and handling all that. I think of Katie, Katie Rains, with the loss of her dad, and then of course Jess Garner with the loss of her dad, and then of course the founder of the Healing House and New Beginnings, Heather Geek. She was a long time caregiver for her mother, and her mother just recently passed. So um, there has been a lot of things that could have in the past would have pushed you guys over, and
Yeah.
you
Brought us closer
responded
together, I
differently.
think.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah.
responded differently, and you handled it so gracefully. And
Yeah.
that was an amazing thing just for me to see. So again, well done, Crystal.
thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Becky, we've got another person that's sitting beside you. Why don't you go ahead and talk a little bit about her?
So this is Carissa Davis. She has been in the program for
5 months.
5 months. It's a lot to keep track of. And she's in my house. So we have three houses real quick. We have the Healing House, which is our main house. That's where Jessica lives. We have the Jochebed's house, which is our single mother's house. And that is where myself and Carissa live. And then we have the Bethel house, which is where Crystal lives. So Carissa is with us. She came to us from she stayed in preferred family for a 30-day period, and then she moved out with somebody, and then she was very persistent in wanting to get into the healing house, and she got in, and she has been doing amazing. Almost immediately after she got in, she was able to take care of things that have been neglected, like, old stimulus checks and taxes. And she's gotten a car, and she helps out. She gives people rides pretty much wherever they need to go. She is a manager at Dollar Tree. Um, so she's just really been coming in and doing exactly what she needs to do. And whenever I just want to say this about Carissa before she shares a little bit, but whenever situations arise, um, no matter no matter how bad they may seem, for if I'm going through something, or when she goes through something, or anybody that she's around, it's just so awesome, because she just comes up with her Bible, and she said, and she'll sit down, and she'll just start reading, and it's because the Lord is showing her things, and she's obedient and knows exactly who needs to hear it at that exact time. And it just like it always lightens the mood, and it really just speaks volumes, because you could walk around slamming doors and have a bitter attitude about different things, or you could just pull out your Bible and see what the Word of God has to say about it, and that's exactly what she does. And for somebody to be here for 5 months, and that's the route that they're taking, is just like mind blowing.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
before she talks, we're going to give her a little bit to gather herself there real quick because I saw that she was getting emotional. But I want to bring something out that's a little fun. It was like yesterday at church, and she had the car full, and she had her music blaring, and it was somebody said that sounds like hip hop. I said I know, and they said, what do you think? I said, well, I like it. So, and they were shocked that I actually like listening to Christian rap. So
it's all Christian
It was
music.
I know
Christian hip hop.
it
I'll give you
absolutely
that. It
was.
was Christian
And
music.
before I'm sorry I don't have you in on the screen here right now, Carissa, but before
That's
I
okay.
have you come on, thank you. Uh, I want to
There
say how
you go.
I want to say how proud I am of you because we got to meet you when we were going on Thursday nights to Preferred Family Healthcare, and that's where we first met you, doing our Bible study. And you were obviously trying to get through some different things, but you were determined, and you were determined to get into the Healing House and New Beginnings, and you did, and you were doing a fantastic job. You have such a servant's heart, and just like yesterday, we had somebody that wasn't able to be there for helping out with the nursery, and you said, "I'll do it," and you hopped up and you
Yeah.
went. And that's the same way with all of you ladies, Crystal and Jessica, as well as Becky. Becky leads along with Lisa, leads our children's program. You guys are always willing to step in and do those things. So I appreciate all that. But Carissa, well done. Well done.
Thank you.
So now I'm going to let you talk. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Well, like you guys said, I came to the Healing House. I was in Preferred for 30 days at a treatment center. And from there, my options were either to go back to, somewhere where I didn't know that I was going to be able to stay clean and do what I needed to do, or to try something completely different. You know what I'm saying? And so at the point where I was at in life, I needed to do something completely different. Otherwise, it was just going to wind up being the same as I've always done. Um, so I did. I worked really hard to try to get into the Healing House, and I definitely didn't give up. They probably got a little frustrated with my attempts, but one thing I will say is that not too long before I came to Preferred, something that I was asking God, and God and I had a very rocky relationship up to I got to the Healing House. But I always ask God, either kill me or save me. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to live like this. I don't want to feel this way. Um, and I can honestly say, from the time that I got to the Healing House, I've not felt any ounce of that kind of grief that I used to feel. Um, I've worked on my relationship with Christ here, and it's a beautiful thing. I too love to be able to just pull out my Bible and read, whatever it is, whatever page I'm on. I don't even know. I just be winging it. But it normally pertains to whatever situation that they're, having issues with. And so I just, that's my little thing that I do.
Good.
So the Healing House really has been beneficial to my life, as well as all of the girls that I know there. I love them all. Um, I was in a very dark place in life for years. I grew up in foster care and group homes. I was finally adopted when I was 12 years old. And then right after I was adopted, I got sent back to group homes. Some would say I had an authority issue, uh, which I'm learning to. That's gone. You know what I'm saying? I don't have that anymore. I rebuked that in the name of Jesus as soon as I knew that I could. But it has been a struggle for me over the course of now I'm 31 years old. It's been a course of struggle for me with my authority issues and all the other issues I had going on. I've got felonies. I'm facing prison time. And all of that's seeming to work out now in better ways than prison. That's for sure. Um, I try to do a lot in the community, whatever I can. Really, I try to keep myself busy. I'm always busy. I'm always doing something. Um, but I appreciate our church, and I go to AA, Celebrate Recovery, Bible. I haven't done Bible study yet. I have worked those days. I really want to go, but I work those days.
Love it.
Yeah.
I do outpatient through Preferred. They've been amazing. I love Preferred. Um, so
Yeah.
the support that I have right now is something I can say that I never had, and I feel like that's what caused a lot of my issues. Was I never had stability, you know what I'm saying? My mother was absent, my father was absent, my brothers and sisters were doing the same thing I was, but not with me, you know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
I've never had a sense of family, and that's what I get here.
Yes.
I remember the first day that I got to the healing house, it was a day that they had class, and I walked into the class, and the first person that I seen was Miss Lisa, and she's my sponsor now, and I love her to death. She's the most beautiful soul that I've ever met. But she said, I am so glad you're here. I've been praying for you for 2 years. And I didn't even know her, you know what I'm saying? Like, I never even met her, but it turns out she knew my cousin. They worked together at the Capitol, and, but my cousin had her praying for me because she knew that Miss Lisa had that warrior prayer going on, and it seems like every woman that I've met through this program is just a beautiful person, and I wouldn't have it any other way. So
That that is awesome. I think one other thing that you had that was special, you mentioned a brother, and speaking of a brother who was with you in service yesterday,
yeah.
Yeah.
that was pretty cool that he was there. So Shelly Church, she just says we're here to love and not judge. Of course, and thank you, Shelly. She's she's awesome. She pops on this program. See, Shelly would probably tell you that nobody's ever called me Pastor Kirk on this program until tonight. So again, just throwing people off a little bit. So
Yeah.
very, very good. Um,
Pastor, can I say that being 90 days in this program? No, you don't have to turn it to me. I'm here. Here I am.
We're all here.
Being 90 days in this program, like each one of these women sitting here, not to mention, every woman in the house, not only that has a car, but that has a Bible or that has a voice. Like they are such amazing people. You know what I mean? We might have our tiffs, but we never cuss each other. Like we never tear each other down. They are always building each other up. They're always willing to, hey, do you need a ride? Or hey, I haven't heard from you today. Or hey, you kind of look sad in class last night. Or you haven't been yourself the past couple of days. So the accountability and the love and just the grace that they give me, and well, that we give each other. But I mean, they're just it's an amazing program. If somebody has been having it on their heart for this program, or for House of Prayer, or they should just definitely pray about it because this is such an amazing, amazing, amazing program. Like Carissa said, I've been in and out of rehab, prison. You know what I'm saying? Like I've been in programs that say that they have God based structure and this, that, and the other, but like the Healing House and New Beginnings is where it's at. That's all I have to say. And Colton's.
And we're not just saying that because it sounds good. It's true.
No, it's from the
It's
bottom
very
of my
true.
heart. I don't say anything just because it sounds good, but from the bottom of my heart, like this program is genuinely amazing. Our church is amazing. Colton's, my boss, like just anybody that is in my life right now, I couldn't ask for more. They welcomed my mother when she came down to visit, my mother and my stepfather. Like, they're just all about building us up and making sure that we're okay and making sure we know Christ and making sure that that is the center of our lives so we can have a life. So,
this is like a big love fest, isn't it? I mean, everybody, we've got all these amazing comments coming in. Madison was saying the Healing House women are some of the most amazing women I've ever had the pleasure of meeting and being family with. Ashley Wright said, Amen. Leah Happel, who just commenced right here back early May, Leah said, yes, girl. And and Katie Rains, she commenced not long ago, and she's also working along with you guys, doing some things at the Healing House of New Beginnings as well. And she's been. I want you real quick before I keep talking. I'm going to have you guys again tell us what's happening tomorrow night so that people can get
yes.
involved and be a part of the fundraiser. So go ahead and do that.
Okay, so tomorrow, Tuesday, May 23rd, is our annual Picnic in the Park fundraiser. What it looks like is we're going to have a silent auction. We have a lot of silent auction items, gift baskets from CNS Employment Services, shout out, Redemption Inside the Walls, all kinds of different gift baskets. Shirks has donated. We have a special large ticket raffle item, which is a $3,000 value outdoor polyurethane furniture, table, and chair set. So get it while you can. And then we have food by Colton's, pulled pork, chips, drinks. We have kids 8 and under eat free. They'll have a hot dog meal.
And more of our girls will be there giving testimonies
It's
too.
gonna be so fun.
And where does that money go to?
Okay, so
into our ministry?
that is a good question. So all of our profits, all of the money will go towards the 3 houses that we have.
Yes, Shelly, you can pay at the event if you do not have a ticket. Go ahead.
Sorry. Yes, Shelly. So the 3 houses that we have, the Healing House in New Beginnings, we have the Jochebed's house, we have the Bethel house. All of the proceeds will go to those houses in this program. So that means like books, hygiene, all different kinds of things. Whatever, our program houses 25 women, and
who generally come in with nothing.
And so women come in with sometimes only the clothes on their backs or their prison outfits. Oftentimes, Jessica did. And so all the proceeds go back to the community, back to the women, back to a changed life. So it's not about the cost of the silent auction item. I just got back from a different ministry weekend retreat where a painting about this big that was painted by a child sold for $5,000.
Awesome.
It's not about the cost of the item. It's about what you're sowing into, and what you're sowing into is changed lives, changed communities, changed families, changed children. If it wasn't for this program, God, through this program, into my life and into my hearts, my children would not have a mother. My children would be living in darkness because they did not know about God. They did not know what was right and wrong because I never taught that to them until now. So just remember that whenever you're writing down numbers on the silent auction items, or whenever you're buying a raffle ticket, it's not about the cost of the item, but it's about what you're sowing into. We also have these t-shirts for sale. The Healing House in New Beginnings, and on the back it says, overcome every form of evil as a victorious soldier of Jesus, the Anointed One. And that is 2 Timothy 2:3. So we are soldiers for Christ.
Yes, we are.
Warriors. And real quick, I also want to mention that what we're looking forward to in the future is what we call Jochebed's Promise. And what that looks like, if anybody knows, Jochebed was Moses's mom. She put baby Moses, in a basket and let him go into the water. And she trusted God that he would return. And he did. And it was because of her faith that he became a mighty ruler of a kingdom. And so from that, what we're looking forward to in the future is a land that we're wanting to purchase, and we have quite a bit of money put aside for this land, and we're actually looking for different properties. We're looking, we have an idea of what we want for it, but we're really just letting God guide us in this. And what that looks like is a place for women to be able to come in, and if they have open DFS cases like myself, whenever I came in at about 6 months, if they're doing well and doing what they need to be doing, DFS is saying, okay, we're ready to give you your kid back. They don't have to move out to get their kids back. They don't have to cut their recovery short. They don't have to cut their program short. They don't have to cut their support short just to get their kid back. They can get their kid back while in the program, and we would be able to house the women and the children together. Bless you.
Thank you.
And so that's that's what we're looking forward to in the future. So just keep those things in mind. It's not just about a gift basket, but it's about the future and the children and the community.
Yes.
So
It is
Before
absolutely about that, and
recovery,
you guys are
your
Yes.
healing.
you guys are doing so good. You've done so well, and we
Proud of
could go on. We could go on all night. We could,
you.
and we could bring on a bunch of other guests because we've got some amazing ladies that have been jumping in and making comments all throughout. And Kayla Pipes, she's jumped in and made comments, and
Aw.
just really enjoyed getting to know her as well as all the rest of the ladies. I cannot say how proud I am of all of you and
yeah.
just how honored both Angela and I are to be a part of all this with you. Our daughter and son-in-law, Jay, who's usually my co-host on the program, he's not with us tonight, but, you know, they and our grandkids live in Colorado. And so you guys are like family to us. And I mean, we really, truly mean that. It is an important part of our lives, and your families are our families. And so I know a lot of people say that and they use that flippantly, but it's a reality for us. So we are honored to be a part
Us
of this
too,
with you guys.
Pastor. Us too, for sure.
Yeah.
We love you guys.
Well, we
Knit
love you
together
guys.
Of
Yeah.
love. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. One more time, tell them about tomorrow night, and just a quick message on that. I don't want them to miss this. I don't want them to miss this.
It's gonna be fun.
Tomorrow night, 5 to 7, Memorial Park. Be there, be square. There's live music, silent auction, large raffle ticket items, and testimonies, Colton's,
It's gonna be a
pulled pork
blast.
plates.
Yeah.
Kids 8 and under eat for free. Also, there's going to be a 360 photo booth. I haven't thrown that out there
Yes,
yet, but there is
yes.
going to be a 360
Ooh.
photo booth. Holloman's, I'm saying that wrong probably. Holland's Family Chiropractic. They'll be there with a table. There'll be a massage table there too.
Yeah, there will be.
So there's a lot of cool stuff. Just come.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're going to get people running now. I mean, they're going to,
Yeah.
you said massage, they're going to be flying in there. So, yeah, you've got live
Just
music.
mention
That's going to
a
be good.
wonderful
Tell us,
lady.
tell us a little bit about the live music. Who's doing that?
It's called it's a couple women. One of the women is one of our mentors. So we do have a mentorship program for the women after they've been here for about 45 days. They're assigned a mentor, and we have mentor night once a month. That's part of our program. So one of our mentors has a beautiful talent for playing the guitar and singing, and it's her and her friend. They call themselves Second Wind. So it's pretty appropriate considering a lot of us are in recovery and getting their second wind at life. There's our second chance. So they're really good, really good.
Well, again, you guys have done an outstanding job. And then, also through the magazine, we work with Council for Drug Free Youth. I know you guys do that as well, but what a great program right here in mid-Missouri that goes into our high schools and kind of, I'm not going to say puts out a warning, but educates the students in the schools and, really encourages them to live a drug-free lifestyle. And
Mhm.
you guys have lived a lot of that, and you've had great testimonies tonight just saying that, um, don't mess with that stuff. There's no need for it. And
No.
you have a lot of great things ahead for you. And you guys have overcome those things, and you are, in the words of my friend Roger Baston, you're living the dream. You're living the dream.
Yes. Yes, we are.
Yeah.
All right. Well, ladies, I'm going to have you hold on until after I close out the program, but you've done an outstanding job. If you'll just hold on until afterwards, I'll visit with you. But thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Okay.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for having us.
See you tomorrow, guys.
Yeah, see you tomorrow.
All right. We have had a great time with Becky Schusler at the Healing House of New Beginnings, along with Carissa Davis, Crystal Dewey, and also we had Jessica Earnshaw. They were just a pleasure to have on the program, as well as all of you guys that made all the comments. You really made the program a lot of fun. You threw a lot of stuff out there. You showed the love. Now I'm just encouraging everybody to again go out tomorrow night to Memorial Park Pavilion, and from 5 to 7, $15 a plate from Colton's. They are Going to bring a lot of great food out there. Kids eat free. Um, Again, just make sure that you get out there and support this great program right here in mid Missouri, the Healing House and New Beginnings. They have done an outstanding job making a difference in the lives of women, as you heard, that have come through a lot of tough circumstances. And so they are doing a fantastic job. The program is absolutely incredible. So let's make sure we get out there and support them tomorrow night. All right, this is your host, Kirk DeMars. Thank you guys so much for joining us this week. God bless you, and I will see you next week.